What up? It's Jimmy the Bag from odds.com. This is a clip from our big Monday opening lines, early leans college football show. If you want to see the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It is exclusively on odds.com. We break down every single midweek game and we hear best bets from John Ryan, Connor Mack, and Noli Knows. And we're coming off a big Saturday, which helped immensely. Keep rolling, get paid in full. And thank you for watching. Let's get to work. The Tuesday night is kind of tricky. We have huge favorites. So Buffalo, best bet from John Ryan last week was an easy casher. Our 31.5-point favorites. This total opened at 61 at Bet365. It's now sitting at 60.5. Buffalo has opened up the season with wins in dominant fashion. 49-30 Northern Illinois, and last week they won 42-10 at home to Miami of Ohio. Then Treese threw for 353 yards, 4 TDs against Miami. The junior didn't look so good in week 1, looked good in week 2. Running backs, Jared Patterson, we know everything goes through him, and now he's got Kevin Marks. So now they have a 1-2 punch on the ground, and they look very good. Their defense has been overpowering. They're allowing 327.5 yards per game, forcing 6 turnovers. Buffalo beat Bowling Green 49-7 last year. Buffalo has covered 5 straight games. Bowling Green followed up its season-opening 38-3 loss at Toledo with a 62-24 loss at home to Kent State. We were interested in what the Boston College quarterback transfer Matt McDonald was going to do, and he's been awful. 14 of 50. He's completed 14 passes in 2 games, 233 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They have been able to move the ball on the ground. They're averaging 4.9 yards per carry with running backs Terrion Smith and Trevor Raymore. They have allowed an average of 50 points a game. They've allowed an average of 595.5 yards per game. They are 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games against Buffalo. Why don't we start with John Ryan? Get us started with a little action. Buffalo, Bowling Green.
Well, you guys know I'm bullish on the Bulls through the first 2 weeks of this season, and double-digit favorites, just to recap what I said last week, in the MAC are moneymakers. They're 5-1 already this season. They're 19-6 with 2 pushes for 76% winners in 2019, 17-11 for 61% in 2018. And that's just blindly taking double-digit favorites. So now favorites of 14 or more, 4-1 this year, 14-6 in 2019, and 11-6 in 2018. So not quite as high a percentage, but still very, very good. So needless to say, Buffalo on paper here is going to make an ugly game of this. The machine learning tools that I run show Bowling Green not even getting to 200 yards of total offense. Slightly over 120 in passing, as Jimmy alluded to their quarterback issues. And this is just a mismatch that is unprecedented. I've never seen a matchup that is this, what's the word? Polarizing. I mean, it's a very, very good team against a struggling team. Bowling Green's 1-13 the last 3 years against the spread when they've given up 500 or more yards. They're 0-14 the last 3 years when they've given up 6.5 or more yards per play. And all these metrics on the machine learning have very high probabilities of occurring. So I am not one to recommend hardly ever in 26 years of betting on a favorite of this much. But I think you got an opportunity here to do just exactly that. So I'm on the Bulls. Surprise, surprise.
The Bulls, it will be your 3rd straight week on the Bulls. You've started 2-0. C-Mac, what are you going to do with this 31-point favorite?
Yeah, I agree with John Ryan. And the other game, I don't really like laying that much with Kent State, even though I think they cover that. Out of the 2 big ones here, I think 30 is not that big. I mean, I think they win here 50-10. So I'm willing to lay, it's not 35 or something like that. So I'm willing to lay the 31 here with the Bulls.
Noli Knows, I know you love focusing on totals. I mean, you handle sides as well, but you love focusing on totals. What do you think of this total at 60-and-a-half, and are you also going to make a move on Buffalo?
I mean, as far as the total, I mean, you got to see if whether or not Buffalo is going to be the team to run it up. I mean, I have to agree with John Ryan. I mean, there's there's no other way of looking at this game. I mean, even laying 31 points sounds crazy, but Bowling Green has lost by an average of 36.5 points in their first 2 games. And you talk about the strong suits for Buffalo is running the ball. You know, they were 10th last year in the nation running the ball. This year, they've got a guy number 4 in the nation and number 10 in the nation running the ball. And Bowling Green can't stop it. They've given up over 300 yards rushing. And what I saw out of Buffalo was last week, the way they were able to shut down Miami of Ohio. You know, you look at passing, they gave up 8 of 26 for just 119 yards. And here going against Bowling Green is Matt McDonald, who's been awful. You know, he's 6 of 20 last week for 105 yards, 8 of 30 for 128 yards and 2 interceptions previous game. I mean, no other way to look at it than Buffalo. Do they get the 61? I don't think so. I mean, the only way maybe to look at Buffalo and the under, which is crazy to say, but I mean, I don't see Bowling Green scoring much here. I don't know if I'll be getting involved. Maybe a Buffalo, maybe first half. I think they come out strong and heavy and blow this team out. Bowling Green is bad.
Yeah.
Bowling Green is bad. Luis Lopez said will be safer bet playing first halves for Buffalo and Kent State. I got burnt badly on the Buccaneers in that situation yesterday. And Joe Yurkovich, cap with me since I started doing it all publicly, great capper, he was like, why are you taking first quarter, first half when you could take the full game? Just give the better team the longer amount of time to take over. I thought my biggest edge was early, and that makes me a little gun shy to move on the first half. John, what do you think? A first half? I mean, I'm guessing that if it's 31.5, the first half's got to be 17.5 minimum, probably up to 20.
I've agreed with what you just said. I'm not a big first half player. I'm not a big first half totals player, but what I'm becoming is a pretty good live bettor. The best example this past weekend off the top of my head was the Penn State game, where I actually got 17.5 and Penn State when they were down 24-3, and that covered. So my point is, why make all your prediction before the game starts? Leave some powder, for when the game starts. That if you like a team or you like the under, and the opponent gets off to a faster start than what was expected, you benefit from it. You're averaging a line that's better than anything you would ever get during the week.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to say is I think write this down, Jimmy, because I want to check this next week because this is pretty fascinating. The machine learning says that Buffalo will run twice as many plays. So let's see if that comes to fruition. That's hard to believe, but let's see what happens.
There we go. Very interesting. And Dennis Garcia is saying Bowling Green implied team total is 14.5-ish. Anyone think they're going to score 2 TDs? And the answer would be no. Are saying first half better for college. I mean, we've seen the first half scash for Alabama over and over and over again. The concern here is that will the Bulls be as focused? I think going on the road probably helps their focus. If this is at home, they might be a little sloppy.